gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn
Wake
good.
up! Yep, it's that time again. Vape AM, brought to you by vapors1.com. I'm your host, Anthony Ramella. Yeah, I'm back. I took a week off from the show, and as many of you probably don't know, I am actually part of the corporate structure here at Vapers. I'm also the human resources director here as well, and last week, unfortunately, we just had some things I needed to take care of, and I just did not have time to do the show last week. And believe me, guys, I missed it as much as you did. I'm hoping for that not to happen again. I think we've put some things in place so that I can continue to do this for you guys, because I want to get the news out there to you, because honestly, I don't think you're getting enough of it anywhere else. So like we normally do on our shows, I'm going to do a little bit of history today. Unfortunately, I'm going to be beating on California pretty much this entire episode. So if you're a fan of California, you might want to just not tune into the rest of this episode, because some of the stuff they're doing is so evil and no one seems to be talking about it. So guess what? I'm going to talk about it. All right. So we usually do a thing in day in history. So we're going to start off. In 1930, the University of California dedicates $1,500 to research the prevention and cure of athlete's foot. Now, a lot of you probably think, well, so what? Who gives a crap? $1,500 bucks. Well, in 1930, $1,500 was about the equivalent of about $22,000 in today's money. And some of you still may be thinking, okay, well, big deal, $22,000, what's the big deal? All right, those of you that don't know, in 1929, the stock market crashed, and the country was under its biggest depression, otherwise known as the Great Depression, that the country had ever seen before. $22,000 worth of money back then would have fed thousands of people. All right, there were people standing in soup lines. There were people that didn't have places to live, didn't have heat, didn't have electricity, didn't even have the small things that they needed. But the state of California decided that it would be a good idea to invest money into athlete's foot cure. And this just kind of shows the type of decisions that are being made out there that continually happen all the time. All right, so let's not put money in the wrong place, and especially when you're looking at something like that with the Great Depression and we're trying to cure athlete's foot, that just drives me crazy. So anyway, little history for you today. Birthdays, I have just one, but I think she deserves a day on her own. Today is Cher's birthday. So the diva of all divas, Cher, happy birthday to you. I did not look to see how old she was, and honestly, I don't know if anybody actually knows, but she still looks pretty good no matter how old she is. So congratulations, Cher. I hope you're having a fantastic day. All right, guys, maybe you can tell I'm a little bit wound up this morning, and obviously a week away with all this news that's been dropping down through vaping and vaping circles this week. There's a lot to talk about. I'm only going to talk about one subject today, but we are going to get into a bunch more things this week, so please stay tuned for that. So last time we were together, I spoke to you guys and said I wanted to put something together because I found basically what I'm calling the icing on the cake. Now, I could not figure out why these states continued to want to ban a product that was actually a harm reduction product from smoking. And I think I finally figured it out. I think I've finally gotten the information that I needed to make this make sense, because it just didn't make sense. It's like, why would you continue to promote something that's killing millions of people every year and then talk down about something that was actually a harm reduction? Well, here's the situation. So why do cigarettes stay legal while e-cigarettes are being banned? The reason for this is actually a thing called the Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement. And basically what that is, and I've written some notes today, so I'm going to do a little bit of reading, but in 1998, states made an agreement to accept money in exchange for forgiveness of past sins, and also so that they wouldn't take legal action in the future. Tobacco companies also agreed to taper back their advertising quite a bit. They got rid of a lot of the cartoon characters and a lot of the things that were going to be in front of mainly young people. And for that, they actually decided that they were going to give money to the states. So this is how the MSA actually works. Well, the states wanted to get all the money right away that was being promised to them by Big Tobacco. Now, they were going to give them a yearly payment every year, but some states like California said, hey, we need more money than this right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell these bonds as like retirement investments for all kinds of different companies. Well, what happens is as time progresses, when the bonds become due or when the payments become due, California just basically thought, okay, we'll just take the money that Big Tobacco is bringing in, and we're just going to use that money to pay the bonds. And that worked pretty well. So what happened is it worked great up until 2014. Because the money that each state receives is based on the sales of tobacco. And so if less tobacco is sold, then each state gets less money. So from the year 2000 to 2013, so 13 years there, from the year 2000 to 2013, it raised from $414 million in 2000 that the big tobacco companies were paying to California, all the way up to $1,111 million in 2013. So it made kind of a steady increase. They were getting more and more money each year. Well, something weird happened in 2014. In 2014, e-cigarettes really came on the scene. And in 2014, the amount of money that Big Tobacco gave to California dropped by almost $400 million. And the reason for that, and the total there was about $726 million versus that $1,111 million. So, which had to do a lot with the fact that people were making the switch to e-cigarettes. The funny thing is they actually sold 1 billion less packs of cigarettes in 2014 that they did in 2013. 1 billion less packs. And also e-cigarettes doubled in the amount of products that they were selling because people were seeing the advantage. They were getting off this harmful thing. They were getting away from all of these poisons and things that were coming from combustion, and they wanted to live a little bit healthier lifestyle. Now, the problem is that now, because California is not getting that money that they're expecting, they're doing everything they can to demonize vaping. And I guess this was kind of an epiphany for me to understand, because California is always about healthy living and about healthy lifestyles and about doing things that are about harm reduction, at least from the persona that I get to see. And this was one area that I just couldn't figure out, and now I'm starting to understand. When you take a $400 million cut that you're expecting, that's going to cause you to make some changes about what you think. And the problem is we're letting money drive this argument. Even health officials whose parents have actually died from smoke-related issues in the San Francisco area have plainly said that they will never outlaw cigarettes. That's a scary thought. Now, those of you that know about San Francisco, they've banned all of their flavored vape products, they've banned all their flavored tobacco products, and the only thing that's available there are just regular cigarettes, which I'm sure are doing a booming business now. And the weird thing is, some of the things that I looked at on the chart that showed how the money was distributed in California, over $10 million of it was going to San Francisco pretty much every year. So you can understand why that was a huge problem for them. So the other issue is, when we see big tobacco and big pharma on the same side of the argument, you have to think that something is wrong. And those of you that don't know, Tobacco Free Kids is completely funded by big tobacco. Okay? The reason for that is Big Tobacco has smoking cessation tools available that are, pharmaceutical, that they are making money off of those, but they aren't, providing us any vaping products. So they want people to not vape, either smoke or use their type of smoking cessation tools, because either way that they make money. But what scared me was when I see Big Tobacco and Big Pharma on the same side of the argument, that's creepy. The FDA has approved that IQOS with the heat sticks, and I think this is primarily because they are taxed and treated like cigarettes. So the states will still receive the money that they're supposed to, and I think you're going to see a lot of states allow this to be the one vaping item that is okay. And that's strictly because that money is still coming into their pockets. San Francisco, which is unfortunate, is literally covered in shit. They get $10 million a year from Big Tobacco, and they are not using that money for that. The other funny thing is, part of the MSA actually gave money to the states for funding anti-smoking campaigns and telling young people about the dangers of smoking, and only about 15% of that money is actually spent for that purpose. The rest of it I've seen spent for docks, for boat repairs, you just couldn't imagine the crazy things that this is actually being spent on. So I wanted you guys to know about this. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time with you this morning because this is kind of a serious topic, and I want you guys to really think about this a little bit. But the reason why vaping is being demonized in the States has nothing to do with its harm reduction value. It has nothing to do with saving lives. It's basically what Big Tobacco is allowed to do is pay money to not be sued and to kill people every year. And the states, because they are so desperate for tax income, they are just allowing them to do it. okay? If you think this is wrong, there's going to be links down in the bottom here. It's going to give you the information about the MSA. It's going to give you the information about San Francisco and how they are legitimately covered in shit. There are maps on there. There's about 7 or 8 different things I found on YouTube yesterday, news articles where you can actually see a map that looks like a MapQuest map, but instead of having like red spots for locations, there are brown spots for every place that there are human feces because of their incredible homeless problem that they have, and it covers the entire map. If you're gonna do something, get off the backs of vapors and start cleaning up your 46 square miles, San Francisco. We've had enough. And Juul has had enough so much that they're probably going to be moving to South Carolina, which just is crazy. Not only that, you're losing a bunch of money there as well. I told you guys I get a little worked up. My show, you're going to get news. We're going to tell you what's really going on. I could care less about Game of Thrones and what else is on Amazon. And all the rest of you reviewers out there and you guys doing shows, give us some news. Let these people join together and fight this thing before it's too late. And as you always remember, our goal here, stop smoking or you're gonna die. Remember, I vape and I vote and your vote counts, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.